Charizard, Part 1, The Birth of Flame. The year was 1996. Across Japan, a new adventure was beginning, a journey that would not just capture hearts, but define a generation. Nintendo and Game Freak had released Pokémon Red and Green, a pair of role-playing games that would ignite a phenomenon. Among the 151 original creatures that populated the world of Kanto, one stood taller, fiercer, and more imposing than most: Charizard. Charizard was not merely another Pokémon. Even in its first pixelated sprite, its design suggested power, fire, and flight. It was the final evolution of Charmander, the small, orange lizard Pokémon that many young trainers had chosen as their very first companion. To evolve a Charmander into Charizard, a trainer needed patience, dedication, and strategy. By the time the creature reached its final form, it had grown into a bipedal dragon-like figure, towering, winged, and ready to breathe fire with devastating force. But Charizard was more than a simple game mechanic. Its design was deliberate, inspired by a combination of dragons from Western mythology and traditional Japanese interpretations of fiery beasts. Its wings were large enough to allow flight, yet they suggested strength rather than elegance. Its tail, tipped with a constantly burning flame, symbolized life force itself, a small but constant reminder of its vitality, as described in the Pokédex. According to the official entries in Pokémon Red and Blue, its fire burns hotter as it becomes angrier, a line that instantly conveyed not only power but emotion, giving the creature a sense of sentience and connection to its trainer. Charizard's lore extended beyond its fiery breath. In the Pokédex, it was described as a Pokémon capable of flying around the sky in search of powerful opponents. It was not simply a tool for battles. It was a living embodiment of challenge and aspiration. Trainers who raised a Charizard learned that it could be unpredictable. Charmander, the humble lizard, had been obedient and eager to please. But Charizard, once fully evolved, had its own will. If a trainer failed to earn its respect, it could ignore commands in battle, a trait that would later be explored extensively in the anime series. The Pokédex entries for Charizard in later generations would expand upon these ideas. In Pokémon Gold and Silver, released in 1999, the description emphasized the creature's majesty: spits fire that is hot enough to melt boulders, known to cause forest fires unintentionally. Here, Charizard was cast not just as a powerful ally, but as a force of nature, capable of both creation and destruction. This duality, loyal companion versus uncontrollable fire, became central to its identity in popular culture. Charizard's popularity in the early games was immediate and undeniable. Players were drawn to its dramatic evolution line and the prestige of wielding one in battle. Strategically, it was also a force to be reckoned with. With access to fire-type moves like Flamethrower and Fire Spin, and eventually flying-type moves such as Wing Attack, it could handle a variety of opponents. Its unique combination of type advantages made a natural choice for trainers who sought both aesthetic appeal and tactical versatility. Yet Charizard's rise to fame was not limited to the games alone. When the Pokémon anime premiered in 1997, Charizard took center stage in one of the franchise's most enduring storylines. Ash Ketchum, the protagonist, received a Charmander abandoned by its original trainer. Nurtured with patience and care, the Charmander eventually evolved into Charmeleon and, later, Charizard, a Pokémon whose strength far exceeded its trainer's initial expectations. This storyline cemented the idea that Charizard was not just a tool or a collectible, but a character with personality, pride, and emotion. It became a symbol of growth, maturity, and the sometimes challenging bond between trainer and Pokémon. The anime portrayed Charizard's rebellious nature in vivid detail. Upon evolving, it refused Ash's commands, choosing instead to follow its own instincts in battles. Trainers around the world saw in this behavior a reflection of real challenges. Loyalty must be earned, and respect cannot be demanded. Over time, through acts of courage, battles fought together, and moments of trust, Charizard returned to Ash's side, not as a subservient partner, but as a willing ally who recognized a trainer's dedication. The Pokémon trading card game, introduced around the same period, also played a crucial role in Charizard's lore and popularity. The original Charizard card, released in 1999, quickly became one of the most sought-after collectibles in the world. Its holographic illustration depicted the fiery dragon with flames roaring from its mouth, symbolizing the sheer intensity that had been conveyed in the games and anime. Even outside the context of gameplay, the card itself became a cultural icon, representing not just Charizard but the entire Pokémon phenomenon. Charizard's in-game lore continued to expand in subsequent generations. In the Pokémon Fire and Leaf Green remakes, released in 2004, Charizard's Pokédex entry included this line: "It breathes fire of such great heat that it melts anything. Its breath inflicts terrible pain on enemies." These words underscored the character's enduring image, a creature of awe-inspiring power, capable of both loyalty and destruction. The developers at Game Freak had managed to combine game mechanics, narrative depth, and cultural resonance in a single design, a feat few Pokémon would match. Even its type combination, fire and flying, tied into the character's thematic identity. Fire symbolized raw energy, passion, and potential for destruction. Flying evoked freedom, independence, and the ability to rise above obstacles. Together, they told a story without words. Charizard was not simply a monster to be controlled. It was a force to be understood, respected, and partnered with. Beyond the mechanical and narrative elements, Charizard also holds a place in Pokémon lore as a symbol of evolution and potential. In the original games, players were often faced with choices: which Pokémon to train, which moves to teach, and how to manage their team. Choosing Charmander and nurturing into Charizard was often considered the most rewarding path, a journey that required patience, strategy, and dedication. By the time a player finally saw their Charizard take flight, the Pokémon had become more than a companion. It was a testament to their skill, their persistence, and their bond. Charizard's influence extended even further in fan culture and media appearances. In the early days of the Pokémon anime, Charizard was frequently depicted as one of the most visually striking and narratively compelling creatures. It appeared in opening sequences, promotional materials, and even cameo appearances in movies. The creature's flame, wingspan, and draconic appearance made it instantly recognizable, reinforcing its status as an icon of the franchise. In summary, Charizard's origins are rooted in deliberate design, narrative depth, and cultural resonance. From its early days as a final evolution of the beloved Charmander to its depiction in games, anime, and trading cards, Charizard emerged as a creature of power, pride, and emotion. Its Pokédex entries, gameplay mechanics, and narrative arcs all work together to create a Pokémon that is far more than a sum of its parts. A legend, a symbol, and a companion capable of inspiring generations of trainers around the world. Part 2. Flames of Rebellion and Glory. In the world of Pokémon, few creatures are remembered as vividly as Charizard. And while the games introduced it as a powerhouse, it was the anime that truly breathed life into the dragon. Charizard's story on screen added layers to its personality, turning a digital sprite into a character trainers worldwide came to know and respect. Charizard first appeared in the anime as the evolved form of a Charmander that had been abandoned by its original trainer. This simple act of neglect planted the seeds for a recurring theme. Loyalty is earned, not demanded. When Ash Ketchum, the protagonist, rescued the tiny fire lizard, he didn't simply add it to his team. He nurtured it, proving patience, care, and courage. This backstory gave Charizard a depth unseen in most early Pokémon. It was not just a creature, it was a symbol of second chances. As Charmander evolved into Charmeleon and finally Charizard, its rebellious streak became pronounced. The Pokédex description of Charizard's independent nature manifested on screen. Upon evolution, Charizard often ignored Ash's commands during battles, choosing instead to fight on its own terms. This defiance caused frustration, but also tension, creating one of the most memorable arcs in Pokémon history. Trainers around the world could relate. A partner that refuses guidance is both a challenge and a reflection of the trainer's own skill. Yet, Charizard's disobedience was never permanent. Throughout the series, Ash slowly earned its trust. Through trials, perseverance, and shared victories, Charizard began to act in concert with its trainer. This arc reinforced a central message of the Pokémon franchise. Bonds cannot be forced, they must be built. Charizard became a mentor in miniature, teaching not only Ash but viewers the value of patience, mutual respect, and understanding. Charizard's anime battles are legendary. Its duel against the fire-type Pokémon Blaine's Magmar tested its limits, showing the world that Charizard was capable of both strategy and raw power. Perhaps most iconic was the battle against the Pokémon League's final stages, where Charizard faced formidable opponents, including Articuno and Aerodactyl. Each confrontation showcased its tactical versatility, combining flying-type mobility with devastating fire attacks. Mega battles, though introduced in later generations, have roots in Charizard's reputation in the anime. The character's natural inclination toward independent, explosive power made it a perfect candidate for future enhancements like Mega Evolution and Gigantamaxing. In the anime, Charizard's fiery temper and immense strength often dictated the pace of battles, forcing opponents to adapt or be overwhelmed. Culturally, Charizard became more than a Pokémon. Its image was used in promotional materials, merchandise, and media campaigns around the globe. From toys to apparel, from movie posters to trading cards, Charizard symbolized the very essence of Pokémon: excitement, adventure, and the bond between humans and their Pokémon companions. The holographic Charizard card, in particular, became a symbol of status and nostalgia, fetching extraordinary prices years after its release. Charizard's influence also extended to competitive Pokémon battling. Trainers in early tournaments quickly realized that its fire-type attacks, combined with strong flying moves, made it a versatile choice. The anime reinforced this perception by portraying Charizard as a Pokémon that could challenge any opponent, a creature whose combination of raw strength and experience made it both fearsome and admirable. Even its rebellious phase in the anime added to its legacy. Fans cheered for moments when Charizard would finally obey Ash, often in critical battles. These episodes emphasized the payoff of patience and training, giving the audience a tangible narrative reward. It was storytelling grounded in gameplay principles. Trust, evolution, and growth are earned. Charizard also played key roles in several Pokémon films. In Pokémon, the first movie, Charizard participated in battles against Mewtwo, showcasing the strategic intelligence and sheer power that had been established in both games and anime. Its presence in movies underscored its status as one of the franchise's most iconic and recognizable Pokémon. Each appearance reinforced its dual identity, both a loyal companion and a force of nature capable of immense destruction. The anime and films also explored Charizard's emotional depth. Beyond the battles, the Pokémon showed concern for friends, courage in the face of danger, and an instinctual desire to protect those it trusted. These traits set it apart from many other Pokémon and elevated its role from simple combatant to full-fledged character. Fans remember Charizard not only for its strength, but for its heart, a rare combination in a world filled with fantastical creatures. Even in modern adaptations, Charizard remains prominent. Episodes of Pokémon Journeys and other contemporary series continue to feature it, often highlighting the lessons learned in the original anime: trust, perseverance, and the importance of bonds. Its enduring presence is a testament to its layered design and narrative history. By the time the anime had aired hundreds of episodes, Charizard had become an enduring symbol. It represented challenge, evolution, independence, and loyalty, all within a single Pokémon. Its story on screen mirrored the experiences of countless players and fans, a journey from humble beginnings to greatness, filled with obstacles, growth, and triumphs. In essence, Charizard's anime journey amplified the themes first introduced in the games. It became a living story, a narrative that transcended mechanics and graphics to touch the hearts of fans. It was a Pokémon that demanded respect, taught lessons, and left a lasting imprint on the franchise, a flame that refuses to die. Part 3. Mastery in Battle. While Charizard first captured attention through its design, Pokédex entries, and anime appearances, its influence on competitive Pokémon battling cemented its legendary status. Across generations of games, from the original Red and Blue to the most modern installments, Charizard has remained a strategic choice for trainers seeking both flair and effectiveness. In Generation I, Charizard's stats were impressive for a final stage evolution. With a base attack of 84, special of 109, and speed of 100, it was fast and capable of delivering powerful damage. Its fire-flying typing gave it a combination of offensive options and mobility, but it also introduced notable weaknesses. Rock-type moves were devastating, dealing quadruple damage, and Water-type Pokémon could easily challenge it. In competitive circles, trainers quickly realized that mastery of Charizard required understanding both its potential and its vulnerabilities. Those who succeeded in using Charizard effectively could dominate battles, especially against opponents unprepared for its speed and versatility. Charizard's move pool added further depth. Early access to moves like Flamethrower, Fire Blast, and Fly allowed it to exploit type advantages, while moves such as Earthquake, Slash, and Body Slam provided coverage against a range of foes. Competitive trainers often built strategies that leveraged its high special stat, making Charizard an unpredictable and formidable opponent. The first tournaments in the late 1990s frequently featured Charizard in final stages, showcasing the strategic layer beyond its fame in the anime or on trading cards. With Generation 2, Charizard retained its relevance despite the introduction of new Pokémon and expanded mechanics. The addition of special attack and special defense as separate stats slightly altered its role in battles, but Charizard remained a powerhouse. Trainers could exploit its special attack for sweeping strategies, while carefully considering its vulnerabilities. Charizard's design as both a fire-breathing dragon and a flying powerhouse continued to influence team-building decisions. Its popularity in competitive play also mirrored its cultural prominence, as many players gravitated toward Pokémon they had grown attached to from the games or anime. The introduction of abilities in Generation 3 further shaped Charizard's competitive identity. With the standard ability Blaze, boosting fire-type moves when health is low, Charizard became even more formidable in clutch situations. The addition of hidden abilities in later generations, particularly Solar Power in Generation 6, introduced risk-reward strategies. Solar Power increased Charizard's special attack at the cost of HP each turn, creating dramatic turns in battles. Trainers could now decide between conservative approaches with Blaze or high-risk, high-reward strategies with Solar Power, adding layers of depth to competitive play. Charizard's Mega Evolutions, introduced in Generation 6, marked one of the most dramatic shifts in its competitive viability. Mega Charizard X, which became Fire Dragon type, completely altered its strengths and weaknesses. With higher attack and a Dragon-type typing, it could challenge previously invincible opponents and dominate in new ways. Its Mega Charizard Y form, by contrast, retained Fire-flying typing but gained the ability Drought, intensifying Fire-type moves and shaping weather-based strategies. Competitive players embraced both forms, often debating which suited their team composition better. Mega Charizard X was aggressive, hard-hitting, and intimidating, while Mega Charizard Y emphasized special attacks and long-range dominance. Tournaments across the world have consistently showcased Charizard's adaptability. From official Pokémon World Championships to regional competitions, Charizard has appeared as a central figure in top-tier strategies. Its versatility allows it to function as a sweeper, a counter, or a weather controller depending on team needs. Trainers frequently pair it with Pokémon that complement its weaknesses, such as Rock-type resistors or ground types that can absorb electric attacks, creating intricate battle dynamics. Beyond raw stats and mechanics, Charizard's presence in competitive history also carries symbolic weight. Players often bring Charizard to battles not only for its performance, but for its iconic status. A well-trained Charizard signals mastery, nostalgia, and a deep understanding of the game. Its repeated appearances in tournaments across decades demonstrate that Charizard is not just a powerful Pokémon. It is a benchmark of skill, a measure of how trainers adapt to evolving mechanics while honoring tradition. In modern competitive scenes, Charizard remains relevant through its Gigantamax form in Generation 8. Gigantamax Charizard transforms visually and mechanically, gaining access to the exclusive G-Max Wildfire attack. This move deals residual damage each turn to opponents, shifting battle tempo and creating strategic opportunities. In this form, Charizard merges lore and gameplay. Its flames literally reshape the battlefield, echoing the destructive potential first hinted at in the original Pokédex. Charizard's competitive journey reflects a broader narrative about Pokémon as a franchise. It is a creature designed with balance, challenge, and personality in mind. Trainers who have used it in tournaments across generations understand that success with Charizard requires knowledge, timing, and adaptability. Its continued presence at the highest levels of competitive play underscores its enduring relevance, not just as a nostalgic figure, but as a tactical cornerstone in the ever-evolving landscape of Pokémon battles. From the earliest days of the Kanto region to the complex strategies of modern competitive play, Charizard's history is a story of growth, power, and adaptability. It exemplifies how a Pokémon can transcend its role as a digital creature, becoming a character whose narrative extends from the games to anime, trading cards, tournaments, and beyond. In competitive circles, Charizard is more than a choice. It is a statement, a challenge, and a legacy. Part 4. Mega Evolution and the Flames of Legend. The world of Pokémon is always evolving, and few changes in the franchise have been as dramatic as Mega Evolution. Introduced in Generation 6, Mega Evolution gave trainers the ability to temporarily transform their Pokémon into a more powerful, visually striking form during battle. For Charizard, this was not just a new mechanic. It was a rebirth of legend. Charizard's Mega Evolutions came in two distinct forms, Mega Charizard X and Mega Charizard Y, each reflecting different aspects of its lore, personality, and power. Mega Charizard X represented raw aggression, strength, and dominance. Its transformation changed its coloring to a darker, nearly black hue, with vivid blue flames bursting from its mouth and tail. Its typing changed from Fire Flying to Fire Dragon, a monumental shift that removed its classic vulnerability to electric attacks while introducing new strengths and weaknesses. Mega Charizard X became a symbol of power and intimidation, a dragon capable of overwhelming even the most prepared opponents. In contrast, Mega Charizard Y preserved the traditional fire-flying typing, but emphasized versatility, speed, and devastating special attacks. Its wings grew larger and more imposing, while its flames intensified, reflecting the idea of a Pokémon at the peak of its fiery potential. The ability Drought allowed Mega Charizard Y to summon sunlight upon entering battle, amplifying the power of its fire-type moves and reshaping the battlefield in dramatic ways. Mega Charizard Y embodies the legendary concept of fire as a force of both creation and destruction, staying true to the narrative established in the original games and Pokédex entries. The lore implications of these transformations are profound. Mega Charizard X can be interpreted as the embodiment of Charizard's untamed, independent spirit, a Pokémon that embraces raw strength and dominance. Mega Charizard Y, meanwhile, represents maturity, mastery, and precision, a creature that wields its fire not for chaos but for calculated impact. In both cases, the Mega Evolutions enhance the narrative of Charizard as more than just a powerful Pokémon. They elevated it to mythic proportions, tying gameplay mechanics to character identity in ways few Pokémon achieve. Fan reception of the Mega Evolutions was immediate and enthusiastic. Mega Charizard X became a favorite for trainers seeking sheer aggression and Dragon-type appeal, while Mega Charizard Y appealed to those who valued strategy and the iconic fiery aesthetic. Online forums, fan polls, and tournament discussions highlighted a near-universal fascination with these forms, reinforcing Charizard's status as a cultural touchstone. Even today, debates over X versus Y continue, with fans analyzing competitive viability, aesthetic preference, and narrative symbolism. Mega Evolution also cemented Charizard's position as a franchise ambassador. Promotional campaigns, official artwork, and merchandise emphasized these transformations, giving the Pokémon renewed prominence in a world where new generations constantly emerge. By introducing two dramatically different forms, Game Freak allowed Charizard to appeal to both nostalgic fans and new players, bridging decades of Pokémon history. These forms also expanded Charizard's role in tournaments. Mega Charizard X, with its Fire Dragon typing, became a late-game sweeper capable of crushing resistant opponents. Mega Charizard Y's Drought ability enabled sophisticated weather-based strategies, allowing teams to control the pace of battles. Competitive play and fan culture both embrace these changes, reinforcing the idea that Charizard is a Pokémon capable of growth and adaptation without losing the essence that made it iconic. Beyond mechanics, Mega Evolution deepened Charizard's cultural lore. Its design in both X and Y forms reflects centuries of mythical imagery: dragons breathing fire, wings stretching toward the heavens, flames symbolizing life and power. Artists, animators, and fans alike celebrated these transformations, producing iconic artwork and animations that continue to define Charizard's visual identity. In this way, Mega Evolution connected gameplay, narrative, and artistic culture into a cohesive mythos, enriching Charizard's story for generations to come. The narrative arc of Mega Evolution also mirrors Charizard's original personality traits. Recall the rebellious Charizard of the anime, who ignored commands until trust was earned. Mega Charizard X and Y embody that same spirit: power that cannot simply be commanded, strength that must be understood and wielded wisely. Trainers must know how to maximize potential without underestimating risk, reflecting the lessons first introduced decades earlier. In many ways, Mega Evolution represents Charizard's evolution not just in gameplay, but in lore. It is a testament to its adaptability, appeal, and enduring relevance. Few Pokémon have been reimagined in ways that respect their original identity, while simultaneously redefining them for modern audiences. Charizard achieved this balance, becoming both a nostalgic legend and a current powerhouse. Fan culture reinforces this point. Charizard X and Y appear in fan art, competitive highlights, and even music videos, often representing power, determination, and personal growth. Online communities debate strategy, design, and lore, demonstrating that Charizard's mega evolutions are not just game mechanics, they are cultural phenomena. The Pokémon that once roared across the Kanto region in its humble pixelated form had grown into a global symbol of fire, flight, and legend. As the Mega Evolution era progressed, Charizard continued to evolve in public consciousness. Its story expanded from a simple game mechanic to a character with emotional depth, competitive relevance, and narrative resonance. It became clear that Charizard is more than a Pokémon. It is a legend, a story, and a symbol of passion and mastery that transcends generations. Part 5: Legacy and the Eternal Flame. Even after more than 2 decades, Charizard continues to burn brightly in the hearts of trainers, players, and fans worldwide. Its story did not end with Mega Evolution. Rather, it evolved further in the modern era, adapting to new gameplay mechanics, expanded lore, and cultural developments that continue to cement its place as a symbol of the Pokémon franchise. The Gigantamax phenomenon, introduced in Generation 8 with Pokémon Sword and Shield, brought yet another transformation to Charizard's story. Gigantamax Charizard is more than just a larger version of itself. It is a spectacle, a living embodiment of its fiery power. In this form, its flames grow massive, its wings stretch impossibly wide, and it gains access to the exclusive G-Max Wildfire attack, which continues to damage opponents each turn. This reflects the narrative theme present from its earliest Pokédex entries. Charizard's fire is not merely destructive, it is enduring, unstoppable, and capable of shaping its surroundings. Gigantamax Charizard also revitalized its competitive identity. In battles, it becomes both a visual and strategic centerpiece, dominating opponents with overwhelming presence and firepower. For competitive trainers, this form underscores Charizard's adaptability. Decades after its introduction, it remains relevant, capable of competing at the highest levels with new mechanics and strategies. In many ways, it exemplifies Pokémon as a franchise, rooted in nostalgia, yet constantly evolving to remain engaging. Charizard's legacy is not limited to battle. Its cultural impact is unparalleled. From its iconic holographic trading cards, which have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars in rare cases, to appearances in movies, TV series, and promotional campaigns, Charizard is synonymous with Pokémon itself. Its image appears on merchandise ranging from apparel to toys, illustrating how a fictional creature has transcended its original medium to become a global icon. The Pokémon anime continues to honor Charizard's legacy. Even decades after its first appearance, Charizard remains a recurring figure in modern series like Pokémon Journeys. Here, Charizard's battles, emotional depth, and display of power remind both new and longtime fans why it captured imaginations in the first place. Its personality, proud, strong, independent, yet capable of loyalty, resonates across generations, reinforcing the lessons first introduced in the Kanto region. Strength is earned, bonds are built, and respect is mutual. Charizard's role in the competitive metagame remains significant as well. Despite new Pokémon, mechanics, and generations, Charizard adapts. Its Gigantamax form, combined with moves like Fire Blast, Flamethrower, and Solar Beam, allows trainers to craft strategies that balance offense, defense, and tactical control. Its evolution from early Generation I strategies to modern tactics exemplifies its versatility and longevity. The Pokémon trading card game continues to honor Charizard as a collector's dream. Original holographic Charizard cards are among the most coveted items in the hobby, often fetching astronomical prices in pristine condition. Newer cards, including those featuring Mega and Gigantamax forms, maintain high demand, reflecting both competitive potential and cultural value. Charizard has become more than a Pokémon. It is a symbol of aspiration, achievement, and nostalgia. Charizard's enduring appeal also lies in its storytelling potential. From the abandoned Charmander rescued by Ash to the rebellious Charizard of the anime, the creature embodies narrative themes that are universally compelling: growth, perseverance, independence, and mastery. Its transformations, Charmeleon, Charizard, Mega Charizard X, Mega Charizard Y, and Gigantamax Charizard, mirror a journey of progression and self-realization. Fancy and Chars are a reflection of the challenges and triumphs inherent in training, battling, and living. Even in popular culture outside the games, Charizard has left its mark. References appear in music, films, sports promotions, and art, often symbolizing power, nostalgia, or fiery determination. It is recognizable even to those who have never played a Pokémon game, standing alongside Pikachu as a cultural ambassador of the franchise. In sum, Charizard's journey from a humble, abandoned Charmander to an iconic, multi-generational legend encapsulates everything that Pokémon represents. It is a creature that commands respect, inspires loyalty, and endures across games, anime, trading cards, and real-world culture. Its fire burns not just in battle, but in the hearts of fans, a testament to decades of storytelling, design, and emotional connection. Charizard's story is one of evolution in every sense. Growth from a small flame to a towering dragon, mastery of skill and strategy, and transformation into a symbol that transcends its original medium. It embodies the spirit of Pokémon itself, a world where determination, courage, and bonds can elevate even the smallest companion to legendary status. And as long as the sun rises over the Kanto region, and the flames of imagination continue to burn in the hearts of trainers worldwide, Charizard will soar, wings spread wide, tail ablaze, a legend not just remembered, but alive.